If you want to fix your dog's bad breath and flaky skin, itches, bad tummies, and maybe even prevent them from getting sick, you might want to look at the foods that they're eating because a lot of pet foods and a lot of pet treats are full of sugar and all kinds of additives. And they're also being made with foods that have been heavily sprayed with glyphosate and chemicals that have been linked to cancers and all sorts of health issues that not just humans are experiencing, but our pets are experiencing. Pets are dying at younger ages than they ever have before. In this interview, we sit down with Milo the Toller and his farming partner, Jen Bennett of Several Oaks Farm. It's a brand new farm to Jen and to Milo and her partner in California, where they are growing oranges, a pollinator garden, and a vegetable garden for the farm. And Milo, you might know him. He's famous on Instagram and on YouTube with his very own cooking show for dog treats. Yes, he is a dog that cooks. We are diving into why farming without chemicals and regeneratively is important to Milo and important to Jen. And we dive into what their biggest challenge is in their regenerative farming journey and how they're bringing more pollinators onto the farm and into their area. I'm Natalie Forsbauer, founder and editor-in-chief of Heart and Soul magazine. If you're enjoying these interviews, then please subscribe, ding that bell so you know when the next interviews drop, and share them with your friends. And to check out Heart and Soul magazine, head on over to heartandsoulmagazine.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter for free or join one of our memberships and subscribe to the magazine. Enjoy this interview with Milo the Toller and his farming partner, Jen Bennett. Hi, Milo. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Look at you, Milo. Hi. I'm like looking around my screen so I can see him. But I can't see him if I look. There you are. Hi, Milo.
There you
I
go.
have my dog here too. Come here, Zena. Zena, come. Come. Say hi to Milo. Up here.
Oh, look, my.
Up here, Zena. 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 Oh, she's like, oh, do you want some pets? Zena, can you say hi to Milo? Over here. Zena.
Good boy.
You're just gonna stay sleeping? All right. Well, we're gonna visit with Milo and his farming partner Jen and learn all about their regenerative farm that they're working on together and why it's important to them and what they're learning as they go on this journey. How does that sound to you, Jen?
Sounds good.
So Farmer Jen is Milo's farming partner on the regenerative farm, and she is going to be Milo's interpreter for this interview. And they farm together and play together and grow together and learn together in remind me of the town in California.
We're in Ventura County, out in Fillmore.
In Ventura County in Fillmore.
Mhm.
And you have a beautiful little oasis there that you just moved on to really recently. How long ago was that?
About a year and a half we moved here.
Awesome.
The people before us just grew oranges.
Mhm.
We have about a little over an acre of orange trees. And then we've also, since we've been here, we've added about 40 other mixed fruit trees, trying to focus on stuff that you can't get at the grocery store so easily, like mulberries and finger limes and cherimoya, things like that.
Awesome. And before you moved on to it, was it being farmed with or without the use of chemicals and all those things? Do you know?
I'm not sure what their initial intention for it. They used to own a lot of the little valley that we're in.
Hmm.
And the lady who lived here before us, she was 90 when she moved, and she went through three husbands here, and towards the end wasn't really doing that much with the farm. So I don't think if they ever did use chemicals, they hadn't been using it for a long time. Our orange trees are pretty old and they were in a more rougher shape than you would want them to be when we got here. They just weren't being watered and fertilized enough. So when we got here, my focus really was the trees. The Even before I cared about what our house and stuff on the property looked like, I cared about the trees the most, because that's what's going to take the longest. When you plant a new tree, it takes a long time for it to fruit and grow. And I wanted to really take care of those older orange trees that we had, because they hadn't been cared for so long. And it was no fault to her. She was just by herself in her 90s here on the farm, which I imagine was a lot for her to take care of.
Yeah.
Uh, so we just really started focusing on the trees, making sure they were getting enough water, and we trimmed them a lot because they had a lot of dead limbs, and trying to take care of the soil. We had someone come out and test our soil to see what we needed to do, and put a bunch of mulch and compost down. So that was like our number one priority when we moved here.
That's amazing. And Milo, what's your favorite part of the farm?
Well, his favorite part is definitely the orchard. He loves running around there, checking on all the trees with me. He loves spring because all the trees are blooming. We have a bunch of stone fruit and they're just starting to bloom. And he loves smelling the flowers. It's so cute, especially the orange blossoms. Like nothing smells better than the orange blossoms.
I can't imagine. I don't know if I've ever smelt an orange blossom. I've had fresh oranges off of an orange tree, but I've never smelled orange blossoms. But
Oh, yeah.
that I felt viscerally through my body when you said that. Um, eh, um, Jen, so Milo has his own Instagram account. It's Milo
Yeah.
underscore the underscore taller.
Yeah.
And he has his own cooking show on
It
YouTube.
does. Uh-huh.
And um, one of the things that we love about Milo is he's really helping people understand the value of healthy food for pets and healthy food for animals. And I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, from Milo's perspective, what are some of his, like, why is that important to you and to him?
Well, we want to all live healthy, happy lives. And to start that off as food is just so important to how your everything about you feels. And we want to eat healthy food. So, of course, we want to feed our animals healthy food too. And in a lot of foods and stuff, they put a lot of sugars and unnecessary chemicals in the food. Um, for us, it's like, why would you put sugar in dog food and treats and stuff? They don't need that. And when I was a kid in the 90s, my dog lived till he was 20 years old and never had to get his teeth brushed, or they put dogs under so much to get their teeth cleaned and all this stuff. And it's like, well, why do they need to get their teeth cleaned? It's because they're eating so much sugar. And dogs will eat a treat. Like Milo loves carrots and broccoli raw. To him, that's a good treat. So they don't need all that. And we just really need to pay attention to what we're feeding our animals. And we grow a lot of our own carrots and broccoli here. And that's like a special treat for Milo. And to him, like he gets it often, but to him, it's like, oh my gosh, I get this piece of carrot. Or the goats like to eat it. So it must be good.
Yeah, it's amazing they put sugar in animal foods, right? How does
Yeah,
that make sense?
it doesn't.
Yeah. When did you first notice that this was happening to our pet foods?
When I just like really started looking at the labeling, just what is in this? Like, why is there so many things that I don't even know how to pronounce these words, and then you see that there's sugar in it, and it's like it's so easy to make your own dog treats too, and they like them so much better. And my nephew who's 5 loves eating them too. Like, and then it's like, like anyone could eat it. You could eat it. Your dog could eat it. Why would you want to give your some dog something that you wouldn't want to eat yourself?
Yeah, so true. And when was that moment though that you knew that you had to do something differently? Was it like when you first got Milo, or were you seeing other animals getting sick, or what was it that inspired you to think differently?
It was I had a friend whose dog kept losing their teeth and had really bad teeth problems. And I was like, why is that? Why does your I didn't really like understand because none of my childhood dogs and my mom was always like super when I was growing up conscious about what she was giving the dogs and how she would feed them and she would give them kibble and stuff, but she also would supplement it with um, she'd make them a little salad or cook them chicken. She'd always add more to their meals than just like standard kibble. Um, and so then when I was looking at my friend's dog and kind of what my friend's dog was eating, I was like, oh, well, you're giving your dog all these treats that are filled with sugar. No, we have to brush our teeth and take care of our teeth so much. And you go to the dentist and they're like, oh, you have so many cavities. You're eating a bunch of sugar, aren't you? So it's like the same thing. And a lot of people don't brush their dog's teeth. So it's like, well, what else is going on with our pets?
Mm.
So it's just so important to feed our dogs the way we would want to feed ourselves. We want our dogs are so important to us now, and we want to have them live a long time with us. That
Mhm.
anything we can do to extend their lives,
Mhm.
like so,
Amen to that. Yeah, and their quality of life, right? So
yeah.
important. So what are some of the parts of your farm that you're most excited about integrating and growing into with Milo?
Well, I just talked with my neighbor and I was like, I really want to grow blackberries. And I said, we have this shared fence. Would you mind if I grow blackberries there and we can share them? And he was like, oh, you know what? On my other property, I have a bunch of wild blackberries and I'll plant them for you. And he just planted the whole row of blackberries. So I'm so excited for this spring for them to all feed us so many blackberries.
That's amazing. I love that mindset because, on our family farm, we have hedgerows of blackberries. I mean, they just go on and on forever, and my dad loves them. And um, they're considered an eyesore by a lot of people because they're super invasive, they're super aggressive where we live, and yet I'd have to say they're one of my favorite berries to make different things from, and their flavor is super spectacular, and they make a really nice natural hedgerow.
Yeah, it helps keep the coyotes at bay. I'm hoping.
It really does. Yeah, it really does. It's so true. And when we were talking yesterday, you were talking about your pollinator garden. Tell us about that. What's that all about?
So we try and bring pollinators into our garden because they're just so important for all the trees and vegetables. So in our veggie garden, we have flowers in the garden as well to help bring pollinators in. We also have 4 bee boxes in the back of our property to kind of help bring the bees in and do whatever we can to help the bees. And
Mhm,
also in California, we have a lot of monarch butterflies that come through to go down to Mexico.
mhm,
So the numbers for monarch butterflies have been really low. So we try and do whatever we can to help them. So we plant a ton of milkweed and also other flowering plants that they like. We have a big patch of lantana,
mhm.
a flowering kind of low growing plant, and they love it. So there's just like we always try and find space on our farm for all the pollinators. Even we have bats here, and bats are important because they pollinate at night. So we have some bat boxes and just trying to be really like mindful of what we grow to
Yeah,
make space for them.
that's really cool.
So we've have 2 small worm bins, and then we use all those worm castings and make tea and all that stuff for the orchard, just trying to take care of our soil the best way that we can.
That's exciting. And so you've been there for a year and a half, so really brand new. What kind of changes have you seen already?
A lot more worms, just in general, like,
Really?
and the soil isn't as hard on top. Like
Mm,
our topsoil was like very hard, and now it's really the mulch on top has really made a huge difference. And before we got here, they cut down a bunch of trees and kind of cleaned stuff up because we have lots of oak trees and stuff. So there was a bunch of mulch down already. Uh,
mhm.
and you could just tell what a benefit that was to the soil already. And then um, we planted a cover crop in our orchard and also just let the grasses grow as well. And so you can now really tell the dividing line between our farm and our neighbor's farm, because our neighbor's farm, they spray Roundup and they don't have any cover crops at all. Their dirt's just, just dirt
Yep.
basically. And ours is filled with life. You can just see it.
Wow.
And then when it rains, we our soil's not muddy. It's like the all the topsoil has stayed and it soaks right into the ground. And then there's you can just see all the runoff, huge puddles of mud everywhere. There's just a huge difference that you could just see, and it's like we're neighbors. So it's like, and they're old school farmers, um, and so I'm trying to get them to, you know, get a little bit more of an open mind. And he did tell me last week that my orchard was looking so beautiful that he loved the grass and stuff. So
Oh, wow, that's exciting. I love how you're presencing how powerful it is to practice regenerative, organic, natural farming practices, and that you can actually see the line of division. Because some people say, well, your neighbor uses chemicals, so um, how is that not impacting it? Well, it's impacting it, and at the same time, the farm that you're stewarding actually becomes its own ecosystem in its own magical way. The earth is so powerful, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah, it's so powerful. So, what cover crops have you used?
We've mostly been using clover, red clover flowers, because I want the chickens are out there a lot, so it was
Mhm.
something good for the chickens to eat. And also, we just got in December two sheeps and two goats. And so my plan is to have them in the orchard um during the day. We need to like still figure this all out,
Yeah.
and have them kind of be our lawnmowers. I'm very excited for that. They're so fun. One of our goats is pregnant, and every day I wait, I like can't sleep. I get so excited because she's due any minute, and I'm like, are there babies? And oh no, not today.
Not yet. Oh, that's exciting. And with the cover crop, the clover, are you mowing? Is it coming back every year? Are you mowing it, or are you turning that in or mulching it?
We've been it kind of didn't it kind of like sprouts up
Mhm.
patchy. So it's mostly been grass with patches of the clover. And I've we kind of mowed around the clover last year, where we
Mhm.
kind of mowed the grass and just kind of we mowed it and then just left all the excess on the ground. And then the clover just kind of died back and then came back because the clover is so
Yeah.
pretty. I didn't wanna. I loved all the flowers. You can cut the flowers and use them in things. And so that I like to like have multi-purpose plants if I can. Um, I used to be a florist, so I love having like cut flowers. Um, and so it's like, oh, if you can eat it and it's good for the soil, or the hummingbirds like it and you could cut it. Like if there's like multi-purpose thing, that's what I always like gravitate towards.
And what are some of your favorite ingredients to cook with from the farm for Milo and his treats?
Um, we made these breath mint treats. We were talking about you know, teeth and stuff, but so we made these fresh breath mint treats that really were so good and made his breath so fresh. And they had mint and parsley in it. I think it was parsley, yeah. And that is just so fun to be. And we have chickens, so we have fresh eggs. It's just so fun to be able to go out and get whatever you need to cook with from the yard.
And from what I understand, Milo and you like to use local ingredients to make your dog treats. So tell us about those.
Yeah, so we have a awesome bakery in our town called Rowan Mills, and they grow all their own wheat and make their own flour, and it's all organic, and they're really careful about making it the best as possible. Where they make fresh bread at their bakery and pies, and they have other local products from other people in the community, like honey and stuff like that. So I use that flour to cook all Milo's treats. And I really notice a difference um when you cook with organic flour. And you know, people say in Italy that, oh, when you're in Italy, you can just eat as much pasta as you want or bread and you feel great and you don't get up fat or anything. And it's because they have all these regulations that we don't have here. So it's really important to know where you're sourcing all your ingredients and be mindful of that.
Hmm. Yeah, so true. I know so many people who have not been able to eat gluten or bread. I mean, bread mostly is gluten. Here in Canada and the States, who have gone over to Europe, who have been able to eat all their bread, all the pastas they wanted.
Yeah,
They did not gain weight. They stayed the same, or they came back more slim and feeling fitter, and they felt
yeah,
healthy, and their stomach was good, and
yeah.
they didn't have any problems or cramping or any of the things. So it's very, very curious, so powerful. I love that you're spreading this message for pet owners um about the importance of pet food and how it's made and where the ingredients come from and the
Yeah.
value that brings.
It's just like you want all the food that's coming into your house, whether it's for you, for your pets, for your chickens. Like, really think about what you're feeding everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. What excites you the most about what you're learning and deepening into?
It's just so cool to see all the wildlife coming back. And, you know, we really focus on the monarch butterflies. And last year, the numbers were getting better, but this year, I guess it's declining a little bit again. Um, but it's just exciting to see the difference that our farm is making by planting the milkweed, to see more of them here at our farm versus the last year.
Mm.
So even just small things like that, I see more bees around, and I just get excited by just seeing more nature everywhere. And where we put our pollinator garden, it was just dirt before, and now it's all flowers. So we have hummingbirds and all different kind. I found a new kind of butterfly that I'd never seen in the orchard this last spring. So that was super fun. It's called the Buckeye butterfly. We were working in the orchard and there was like 7 caterpillars. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? I don't know what this is. And so we did some research and found out it was a Buckeye butterfly. And then I started seeing the butterflies everywhere. So to me, that was like so exciting that we're helping, bring a space for these animals to thrive.
Yeah, super exciting, Jen. And
Mhm.
you're a relatively new farmer and still learning, and I feel like you're a bit of a sponge and also this oasis of knowledge already. And so I'm curious, what advice would you give to new farmers?
I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes and just try things because a garden or a farm or anything, life changes and if something doesn't work, you try something new next year and just see what works better for you and for in your space. A lot of people told me, oh, you might want to wait a couple years before you plant fruit trees to just kind of see how the sun is but for me it was like, well, let's just try, see what happens, see what sticks. So I just would say don't be afraid of failing because you always could plant something new if it didn't work or try something different the next year.
So true. So true. So, Jen, one of the ways you and Milo are spreading the word about healthy living foods and organic treats for pets is through Milo's cooking show. Tell us about that.
Milo has his own cooking show called Drooling for Treats, and it's where he cooks up all kinds of different stuff from dog ice cream to donuts to breath mint treats. We also make flour cookies. Um, it's such a fun show. We have so much fun doing it. And we use a lot of stuff that we grow on the farm. We use pansies for the flour cookies. People can eat flowers, dogs can eat flowers. It's really fun. We have chickens, so we use a fresh egg and herbs from the garden. We just love making it.
Yeah, I love your show, and the recipes are so easy to follow, and we get to see Milo in action. I'm
Yeah.
was wondering how many kids are starting to watch that show because I think kids would really enjoy
Oh,
cooking for their dogs along with Milo.
yeah. Kids love the show. We have a Halloween episode where the dogs come and they go trick or treating. And my nephew always is like, "Oh, I want to watch Milo's show. Play it again."
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely fabulous, Sophia. So if you haven't checked out Milo's cooking show yet, drooling for treats. I'll say that again. Uh, if you haven't checked out Milo's cooking show yet, drooling for treats, go and check it out and share it with your friends. Share it with your dog loving humans that are looking for nutritious and delicious foods for their pets. And if you're looking for something to give that person who has everything, but they have a dog, make them some dog treats. That's one sure way to light up their hearts. Thank you so much for your time today, Jen. And thank you for Milo. Hey, Milo, can you hear me? He
Hello.
probably, he's like, yeah, I'm sleeping. Hi. Thanks for joining us and sharing your farming partner, Jen, with us so she could tell us about your farm and some of the treats that you are creating and sharing with the world and just making the world a better place. So thank you, Jen. Thanks for sharing your journey with us. And we look forward to following Milo along and sharing his recipes with the world. The big love. You make yourself an amazing day and happy growing.
Thank you. You too.
Be sure to go and check out Milo's cooking show at Drooling for Treats on YouTube. You can find him on Instagram at Milo_the_Toller, on Facebook at Milo the Tollers, and on the web at milothetoller.com. Let us know what treats you decide to make for your pets and maybe your friends' pets. Post pictures of them and tag Milo and Heart and Soil so that we can share the journey of feeding our pets delicious food that is good for them, that isn't going to make them sick, but it's going to feed their microbiome. It's going to help them have healthy teeth and a healthy coat of hair and fur and make them feel good, give them energy, because we all know that food is medicine. It's not just medicine for humanity, it's medicine for the animals that we share this earth with. It's medicine for the insects and all of life we share this earth with. And if you want to learn more about regenerative farming, gardening, and living, growing food in partnership with nature, head on over to heartandsoulmagazine.com where you can sign up for a newsletter for free where we share tips and resources on growing food without chemicals, organically, biodynamically, using natural farming methods, Korean natural farming, and with a focus on soil health and your health and planetary health. You make yourself an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining us. Big love, great blessings, and namaste.